Everyone fit, first of all, from Thursday?
Yeah, all good. Full squad to pick from, so that's a positive.
What has been, after sleeping on it a couple of nights, been the reflection on the performance and the result on Thursday in the context of the group, do you think?
I think it's too early to speak about the context of the group. You know, we have to wait and see how this week pans out. We have to go to Israel, difficult game. Denmark, Austria have to play later in the week, difficult game to call. So, as I said before, I think this section, one or two twists and turns before we get to the end.
You're now about to play Israel for the fourth time this season. Is there anything new that you're expecting from them, and is there anything different that you intend to do yourself?
No, I think it'll be a similar game to previous games, tight. I think both teams are evenly matched. We respect the Israelis a lot. I think they're a good team. I think they have threats in key areas of the pitch, specifically up front. We have to defend well, and obviously we have to find a way to score goals.
The game in November, Scotland played pretty well, created a lot of chances, couldn't find the back of the net. Is it just about now, not so much being more clinical, but seizing the moment in some respect?
I think in the November game, obviously we were chasing the win because we wanted to top the Nations League section. We conceded the first goal, which always makes your chase a little bit more frantic, and sometimes when you're frantic you need just a little bit of composure to find the key finish in the game, and we didn't manage to do that. But certainly if we create enough chances and get enough pressure on the Israelis as we did in that game, I'd like to think we've got boys on the pitch who can score goals.
Scott McTominay was saying to us yesterday he feels that it's about maybe showing a little bit more arrogance, a bit more belief to go out and dominate these teams. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think it's not about going out and dominate. It's what I've said all along. It's about building as an international team. You know, these players when I came in were relatively inexperienced international football wise, and now they're picking up more caps. Grant Hanley came in, he got his 30th cap the other night. That's experience. Robbo's got over 40, I believe. John McGinn, I think, is approaching 30 now. So you're starting to build up international experience, and that's what it is. You're learning all the time. These games are difficult. All international games are difficult till you play the match and win the games. So they're all difficult.
Word about McGinn, we talked all about the goal on Thursday night. His strike rate is quite something for a midfielder, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good. Strike rate looks good. Obviously in certain games we play him a little bit more advanced, which he becomes a support striker, which he's good at, and he gets the goals, so it's a long way to continue.
There's shades of Morris Johnston on Thursday night. Were you involved in the squad when Morris did that, and was that one better?
Can I be honest, I can't remember if I was in that squad. It was round about that time I was in and out the squad a little bit, so I can't remember if I was in it, but I remember Mo's goal.
I mean, John was saying himself, because he's been playing deeper for Villa a lot in the last few weeks. Is it a dilemma for you to decide where to put him on the pitch, or is it a good conundrum to have? Just
one of those good problems for a head coach. So, wherever we play John, he always gives 100% for his country, and I think that's the most valuable part.
Do you intend to try and freshen it up a little bit tomorrow? Or are you set on your team thus far, or have you still got a few headaches in mind?
I'll sleep on it. We've got a long flight out there. We'll see how they wake up in the morning. Still one or two suffering little knocks and niggles for the game the other night, although they'll all be fit for kick-off. We'll just see how they are. We'll gauge the feeling. At this time you don't try to read too far ahead. We'll see how we wake up tomorrow, and then we'll go for there.
Would you be inclined, Steve, not to change too much, especially with that back three, because that relationship looked like it was, more than decent, and will only get better if they play together more, I guess?
Yeah, there's always a case for keeping the same and learning about each other, working with each other, and there's also the case that you might need one or two fresh legs in the team, so that's something that we're going to decide on after we've had a little sleep. But no, it's obviously defensively, the more people play together, the better the relationship, the better their understanding. It the same applies right through the team. You're looking for continuity, you're looking for consistency, but you know that you have to freshen the team at certain times, so that's the balancing act that we've got to get right. When
you reflect on what a lot of the fans were saying, they were getting really excited about a lot of players. You like how impressive McTominay was, obviously the John McGinn goal, etc. Can you also get excited? Obviously you're the manager, but you're a fan as well. Can you let yourself get excited about the potential that you see in the squad? I'm not allowed to get excited. Listen, I just stay calm, measured. Try and do the best for the team. Try and pick the right team at the right time. Try and put the players in that I think can affect the game.
I think I've said before, I think it's an international squad that's grown well together. Obviously we're going to have to pick up in this campaign 2 or 3 key results that will just give us that little boost and give us a little bit more confidence, belief. Scott McTominay spoke about belief and arrogance. It's not arrogance in a bad way. It's a good way where we want to go and believe that every time we go to the pitch we've got a chance to win the game. That's what we're trying to build.
And I guess Scott McTominay, others as well, they kind of bring that from club level, do they? That kind of belief and arrogance, if you like. No,
the belief comes from the way they perform for their clubs, but it also comes from the way that they perform when they get together. Basically, over the last year, the results and the positivity around the international squad has been much better, certainly much better than it was when I took over. There was a lot of negativity then. We seem to have turned the thoughts of a lot of people in the country, and that's good, but we also know that one bad result can set you back and people can try and put that negativity back in. So we just try to remain positive and keep winning matches.
Did you set yourself a points target for these first 3 games? And if you did, what was it?
No, because I think it's too early. Like I said before, if the section's going to be, I think, a little bit unpredictable, you set yourself a points target and you don't reach it, you disappoint yourself. So it's better just to take each game at a time and get the points that you can get out of that game.
For this game, are you thinking that you can't afford to lose it? Would that be fair?
I'm not really thinking that. I want to go and play well and the team to play well, and if we play well I believe that can be good enough to get us a positive result.
Steve, when you're playing a team for the 4th time in a season, do you think about maybe trying to throw something into maybe they're not expecting? Are we surprised there, or just to change things up, just to get, because obviously tight games in the past as well?
Yeah, the games have been tight in the past, so maybe in a tight game this time we might be the team that comes down on the winning side. So like I said before, it's about getting the balance right, freshening the team from the other night. A lot of good things the other night. When I watch back the video, you see 1 or 2 things that we can do better, so we'll just keep trying to improve.
It's still very unusual, these triple headers and 3 games inside a week. Have you learned from the autumn about how to deal with this kind of new situation of playing 3 games like that, and anything you're doing differently this time? So?
No, I think you just, like I said previous, is just to concentrate on each game as it comes, and then from there you have to work out what you're going to do in the next game. I don't think you can plan too far ahead, certainly not in these times, but you just have to be prepared to make some changes if you have to make changes. If you have to go with the same group of players, they're all fit enough to play three games in a week. They do that for their clubs all the time, so if we have to do that, that's what we'll do.
Steve, you touched on a long flight ahead. How does travel or kind of longer journeys like that impact on preparation?
It means you've got a little bit less time on the training ground. You've got to have shorter media conferences, as this one's going to be cut short in a little while because we have to make sure we don't miss the flight. Listen, it's a relatively long flight, so it was important this morning. We just had a good stretch. We didn't do too much on the training pitch because we have to rest the legs and rest the minds ready for the game. Long flight. Make sure we're ready to have a good sleep when we get there and get ready to go the next day.
Final questions from the Scottish media.
Steve, do you feel there's a familiarity with Israel now that we've played them quite a lot recently?
Yeah, that'd be a fair comment.
And are you expecting anything different ahead of the match tomorrow night?
No, I think they'll be pretty much as they normally are, and we'll be pretty much as we normally are.
A couple of questions from the Israeli media. Steve, did you see the match Israel played against Denmark, and what were your impressions from it?
Yeah, I thought it was a good game. Israel were never out the game until the second goal went in. Like I said before, the Israelis are a good team. I think sometimes they get underestimated a little bit, but certainly from within our camp we don't underestimate them. We know they're good. The last twice we've been in Israel, we've lost. So we have to make sure that this time the result comes down in our favour. And
you've obviously played Israel a few times. Do you think that Israel can still surprise you, and can you still surprise Israel?
Yeah, I think so. I think every team in the section is capable of upsetting everybody else. The Israelis have good players, they have good squad depth. They can make changes if they have to, and we have the same. So let's see what myself and Willie come up with for the game.